Show me how good you can do it. Good job. Good job. I see.
You got pants on.
I see you.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Fortified Castle. And Privet, bonjour, guten tag, hola, and ciao to my foreign friends. So, I did a video on a case versus Boker. And kind of playing those two off, which is better. Those are kind of fun and interesting little videos. They don't mean a whole lot because it's only an example of one. And so if you only have an example of one knife and you have an example of another knife, and especially if they're not the same model even, it's really kind of hard to make comparisons, but you can see some differences. And they're just kind of fun and interesting to do. But a question came out of that from Swamp Stomper, and he wanted to know if I paid more for a case knife, would that knife be more premium? And the short answer to that is yeah, it should be, right? So that's what the name premium implies in and of itself, is that something is much more expensive than something else. And so that's an easy concept to understand in our daily lives. If you go to the store and you're buying regular 80% ground beef, and then you buy ground sirloin, the ground sirloin is going to cost more, and it's going to taste better, or at least it should taste better. Same thing with cars. You know, if you have a Prius, and I'm not putting down Prius, but if you have a Prius and you have an Audi, there's a big difference between those two cars, and there's also a premium that you pay, and so for the price that you pay, you get a lot more. And so generally speaking, if you're going to pay $800 for a knife, you should be getting a whole lot more than what you're getting for $100. Okay, so that's the short answer. But I told him in a perfect world that would be the case. And the reason for that is we live in a very strange time where knife manufacturers have dialed in what I call price point knives. And so a price point knife is a knife made for the masses, the greatest number of people, and it's priced to that point so that the greatest number of people can get it, and yet the quality is such that that knife is pretty good. You know, it's pretty good for what you're paying and what you're buying for. And Case has got this price point, $70 price point dialed in, and you just get phenomenal you know, knives for that price point. This particular knife here is a what is it? Muskrat. It's a Muskrat knife. Has a nice cranberry scales on it, mirror polish. This knife is near perfect. I could nitpick this knife, but for all practical purposes, it's perfect. It doesn't have the problems normally associated with a case knife. There's no gapping in this knife whatsoever. It was affordably priced, and I really like this knife. And I think I paid $70 for this knife, if I'm not mistaken. It's not anything special. It's just a Muskrat that Case produced. This knife right here, I just bought, $70, really nice knife. Same thing, this knife has no gapping in it. There are no really bad issues. You know, on the top squares here, it's cleaned up, but you can see it's really rough there. They haven't ground out all of that imperfection there. But that's kind of normal in any knife that you get nowadays that is a folder. At least that's my experience. That they all have that problem. And I have GECs that have really nasty looking top squares on them. So when you go up from this knife here was $119. And so you would think that's a $40 price increase over a standard knife. And so you would think you would be getting something more for this knife. And you do. You have a nice little stamp there on the bolster. That's pretty cool. You have a premium abalone scale, genuine abalone, that is just beautiful. Just a gorgeous knife. Mirror polish, nice mirror polish throughout. But if you turn this knife over, you can see the gapping already. See it there? And it's pretty consistent throughout, you know. And so you just don't have the quality that should be associated with a higher premium knife. You can see that gapping on the right hand side there. And that's what I was talking about. So manufacturers today, what they tend to be doing is they'll throw something special in, a special cover on the knife, or add a little bit of detail, you know, some scroll work or something, or upgrade. Like this knife right here has nickel silver liners in it. That's an upgrade. And they're just throwing these upgrades in the knife and selling them for more money without a corresponding increase in quality. And that's different because 100 years ago, if you paid a premium for something, you got something that was premium. It wasn't, hey, I'm just changing the scales out or the look of the knife or the name of the knife. I'm actually making a better knife. And that's the difference between now and then. And if you look at this knife, this is a limited edition knife. You can see it right there, 107. Really cool looking knife. The scales on this are awesome. It's 3D. You can see down inside there. And then there's little tiny grooves. It's beautiful. And this knife, which probably, I bought this used, but probably, you know, it probably went for about the same price as that other knife I showed you, around 119. But, you know, this knife, you've got an upgraded scale material that looks really cool. Upgraded shield, a different kind of shield than they normally produce on their knives. And this knife is, like these knives, pretty much perfect. And so there's no gapping in this knife right here. And it was worth it, right? So, and then a higher price, you pay a higher price, you're getting a little, this is a fancy scale material over this. And so, you know, you expect a little bit more out of the knife. It's a limited edition. You would expect that it would, you know, cost a little bit more. But the point there is, with case, you really can't tell unless you hold the knife in your hand, right? And both these two knives are new. I bought this one this year, that one last year. Both of them are perfect. Maybe Case has turned the corner on their quality assurance, and all their knives are going to be just awesome from now on. But that's what I'm talking about a premium knife. You know, it should be made to a higher standard, but so often today, manufacturers, doesn't matter who they are, they're just adding materials to the knife, but not increasing the quality of the knife. And so you're not really getting a premium knife. You're getting a Priya that has a $10,000 paint job, right? It looks great, but when you open the door's kind of not set right in the frame. And that's the problem with knife manufacturing nowadays. That's a generalization. You could certainly look at knives that cost more and definitely are worth more. And I have knives like that. But, you know, we were specifically talking about a case, and you could expand that, you know, so anytime you pay more for a knife, you should be getting something more for it. So anyhow, I hope that clarifies that a little bit. It's a really confusing subject. It can be, especially if you're only watching a minute or 2 minutes of a video, you're not getting the whole argument or the whole explanation when it comes to that premium controversy that we have going on nowadays with knife manufacturer. So anyhow, I hope that made sense. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and that's your answer, Swamp Stomper. Thanks. I really appreciate you guys. Have a great day.